quick, one person says, why not put the Hawaiian studies on Hawaiian land?
It is on Hawaiian land, Dumbo.
Ceded land.
Ceded
Get
land.
it?
The university.
The ceded lands is Hawaiian land,
Okay.
stolen in 1893.
Okay.
Are you listening?
I was going to say that quietly.
That's all right. I like to say it that way.
Okay.
We'd like to replay our opening for you with Brother Nolan singing his song, Brother Nolan being a standard English speaker, as we all know. And introducing that opening, we have another standard English speaker here. And let me say something about her. This is Dr. Haunani-Kay Trask, PhD in political theory from the University of Wisconsin.
Now, everybody, we're going to take a look at the same tape you guys see in the intro. It's Tourist Island. And don't forget that it's the fabulous Brother Nolan and that he won the Album of the Year award for Native News. So everybody, I'd like you watch them, okay? Joe, you guys ready? Roll on.
Been rather busy lately.
Tonight's show is the 75th program in our series, spanning the past half-dozen years or so. Living proof, unfortunately, that the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Well, we have a lot of calls backing up, but do you have anything you wanted to ask before I get to them?
I do, but I think we should let the public ask.
Do you have any questions? I'm backed
Go
up on
ahead,
questions
please,
here.
go
Let
ahead,
me.
go ahead.
We have to get to some questions.
Say hurry up.
We're running out of time. You'll like this one, though. The main problem is there are too many Howleys in Hawaii, and they force everyone to become like them.
That's exactly correct. Here, here. I agree. You want to hear the way English is spoken, the way you speak it? Leave.
All you care about is poor people. What about the rest of us?
There's a question. Well, let me ask it to anybody. Turn to Donna. You look like a normal person. This is says, how can normal people help?
Did you want to add something to this? Because we have a tremendous number of calls I
No,
wanted
go
to get
right
to.
ahead. Go right ahead. Go to
Okay.
the phone calls.
We're loaded with questions, and I want to take them back if you don't mind. I was just about to read this one. Well, I can't if you keep taking them away from me.
I love you, I support you, and so forth. We've got at least 6
Thank you.
people here. I mean, there must be 30
Let's
calls
take
at
the
least here.
tough ones.
We have a question from a viewer, and I'm not sure I understand it, so let me just read it out loud and see if you get it. It says, Kekuni, how do you feel about the idea of reconstituting the mixed Hawaiian population through the integration of pure Hawaiian people or genes from the people on Ni'ihau?
I don't quite understand the question either, but let's try to take one.
Uteruses, for example, are fairly gratuitous tissue, but we do a lot to preserve testes if need be.
The idea of reconstituting the mixed Hawaiian population.
John Pennybacker would not go have brain surgery done on him, and the Bishop Estate and Kaiser seem to be losing their minds.
If men could menstruate, we'd have a National Institute of Cramps, paraphrase.
Sperm banks for Hawaiians. That is...
Maybe I've got Alzheimer's. So it's true.
It's really amazing.
I have a note here that slipped to me before the show that you wanted to do something about the drug war, and I suspect, as usual, it'll be something negative. While the whole rest of the country is celebrating about cocaine seizures of thousands and thousands of pounds, you're going to say something critical again, right?
You got it. I was going to give you a quiz.
Big
Maybe
surprise.
we had time. There is a country in this world where cars can be stopped at random and people seized and made to submit to breath or alcohol tests, where workers can be compelled to undergo drug testing, where houses and cars can be seized by the federal government, central government of that country. Where
Albania.
No.
Wait.
And now, live from the studios of Oceanic Cablevision and sponsored by the First Friday gang here, we give you Kimoleahi on sports.
Mill, I want to switch the subject completely. Why does Hana-san go unpublished? Unpublished.
In 1970, when I was a graduate student at UH, we had 6.9% women full-time, full professors with tenure. That's moved up a big 2% in the last 20 years.
You became a professor.
Right, I'm not, but not full. I'm never full, and neither will Haunani be if we keep this up.
Not an investigation of me, but an investigation of climate. Climate, the wind, the rain, the sun.
The enemy is here.
Are you listening, military? There goes the phone.
Right.
But David, don't you think they could build the spaceport on top of the convention center?
Good idea. Good idea. How about putting a convention center on top of the spaceport?
And then blow it up.
Let me just
I want
back up for a
to
minute.
ask you something because
Wait a
since
minute, wait.
Good.
Now, let me just ask something about.
I just want to ask.
Question I wanted to ask you, and then I'll let Haunani get a word in edgewise here. She's always complaining that I never do that. But I wanted to get to this question. As long as
And there's that famous phrase, I can't remember who said it, that if Hollies don't like Hawaii, they can leave. Remember that? Gosh, I don't know.
Okay, well, speaking of telling people to leave.
How's that? Yeah, well, remember, it started with Riley Wallace, the coach that turned down the job
That he never
for coach
was
that he was
offered.
never offered.
And Al Simone.
Then Al Simone turns down a job he was never offered. The newspapers say, hooray, or lucky we are to have these people who turn down jobs that they were never offered. And then Chuck E. turned down a job at Denver.
I heard you've turned down the job, too. Is that true,
I
David?
turned down Dan Rather's job. And I haven't heard yet from them as to whether they're going to accept my rejection. We've got a lot of calls. We're backed up. One of the most recent ones called in, asked whether we will invite Margaret Thatcher to be on the show. We'll have a discussion about that.
Oh, Maggie.
I know
No.
she's been writing to me for years trying to get on the show.
Maggie and Mufi.
thank
What a team.
What a team.
Strange hotel fellows, if you will.
I hear those rumors from Hawaii.
They have a great deal in common. They should consider marrying each other.
It's a remarkable book. It's about Hawaiian population, saying that when Cook got here, there were 800,000 to 1 million people here. Does Smizer do a story on this? No.
Before the horror.
Before the horror.
Here it is.
I mean,
Available, University Bookstore and Honolulu Bookstore. Pick it up, hot off the press.
Lilikala Kame'ilahiva was a guest on your show last month, referred to a book that was authored by her. Can you tell us what the title of that is? You referred
yes,
to her
the
work.
title of it is Land and the Promise of Capitalism. It is her dissertation, and it's available at Kinko's.
Yes, I'm publishing a book. It's called From a Native Daughter. Thank you, by the way, for that question. It's called From a Native Daughter, and it will be out in May, and I have flyers, and the Center for Hawaiian Studies can give you advance orders. I have addresses and everything else. We're not allowed to do that on this show, so that's why I haven't said anything.
One of our guests tonight, as usual, attorney Mililani Trask, and director of the Center for Hawaiian Studies at UH, Haunani-Kay Trask. One of them has written a book that was just recently published. In fact, should be in the bookstores this week. In the New York Times compares the author to Hawaii's volcano Kilauea, saying, like Hawaii's volcano Kilauea, Trask sets off explosions. This book is From a Native Daughter, Colonialism and Sovereignty in Hawaii by Haunani-Kay Trask. And I just wanted to begin with a little discussion of this book, if I can, because it's going to upset some people. Any
You want me to
comment
comment on
Sure.
that? Well, I'm famous for one phrase, which is, if you don't like it, go back where you came from.
John, you've been trying to get a word in edgewise.
Did you want to say something, John?
Yes, don't buy spam. Mahalo.
John Witeck for governor.
Thank you.
No, I'm serious. I mean, it sounds, this is just one. We're getting all sorts of calls urging you to go on all these different shows now. We've got the Arsenio Hall show. People are saying you should go on there. Geraldo Rivera. This is our last live show from this studio. They're closing the studio down. We're not sure where we'll be broadcasting from next.
Baghdad.
But Baghdad, perhaps. Right. We'll be joining. We hope to be joining Peter Arnett in Baghdad. Go ahead quickly.
Just remember that this is the end of our 4th year, and next month is the beginning of our 5th year.